Welcome to the dumbest smart guy podcast on the planet. This is the Central Unintelligence Podcast.
Back again. This is this episode, and this episode's going to be a bit of a swerve to the left from the constant Iran-Israel fucking coverage that we've been doing. Just because those of you that don't know, if you're I don't know, just came back from space or some shit, they haven't done anything yet. That whole "oh man, 2 more weeks" meme is really fucking making play. I've been posting that on everybody's shit, like, because they're like, "Oh no, they're gonna attack tomorrow," and then some guy was like, "Oh, nothing ever happens," and then I was like, "Nah, two more weeks, man. 2 more weeks, friend. Just wait."
2 more weeks.
Every week it's 2 more weeks. It's always 2 more. Like, it's the best. It's a great meme. But anyways, so we're gonna talk about the stock market nonsense that happened earlier this week. Also, about the English, now I guess, like, civil liberties fucking debacle and riots.
For immigrants that, these are people that came post-ISIS?
Oh yeah, these are people that have come since post 9/11, basically, like, that have just been displaced or whatever, and England decided to take a bunch of them. But anyways, before we get to that, if you want to hear all our stuff, you go to GameRageMagazine.com. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine, Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag, YouTube, Game Rage Magazine. Everything is there. Also, stay tuned for, we're going to be putting out 2 new podcasts this month in August, probably towards the end. So stay tuned. You'll hear more announcements about that when those are up. If you want to follow Adam, you can follow Adam at All Gas No Trash Official on Instagram, and go to the All Gas No Trash podcast, conveniently located at all the places I just told you. I'm Josh, if I didn't say it already, in case those of you who don't know. So, yes, it was all like post...
My name's Adam. Shit.
I said that already.
Oh, you did? I wasn't paying attention.
Jesus Christ. Wasn't paying attention. Anyways, what you were saying, though, about the quote-unquote migrants, yeah, they're all from Africa, the Middle East, like, it's all... And it's predominantly Muslim immigrants that are of the Muslim faith. And so it does... This does have racism built into it. I mean, there are reasons why they're rioting or whatever, and they are for racist reasons. Like, that's not like in question.
Is it even possible to have a situation where they don't? It's not racism itself. It's just there's a minority group of people that have arrived, that had a mass exodus, that had nowhere else to go. They arrive.
Yeah.
And it's not that people are discriminating against that specific group of people. They're just saying, we already have a full boat, but it's being interpreted as racism. Is that possible?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I think is happening. The mainstream is a cultural difference. It's not a race difference. It's a culture difference. That's what the mainstream thing of why the average Joe Briton, as they call them, doesn't want more immigrants, is because it's a cultural difference in the way that it conflicts with British society. And so now that this minority has become pretty large in the country, they're starting to turn things to change the culture there. So they're changing the culture of, whereas before there weren't any, let's say, like Muslim people or like mosques, or there weren't any Muslims in terms of like in city council. Well, I don't know what the fuck they call them there, but like there were no people in the local or like the federal level of government that were of this other culture, and now they've begun taking seats and they've begun to start changing things in a way that is, let's make maybe this illegal where it's like, this is like a very small tenet of like a Sharia law type thing, right? Because that's where they came from. That was like the kind of the norm. So it's like people are looking at this as, oh shit, well, they're trying to change our culture into this. And that in and of itself, I don't think is racist, because it's a cultural difference that the inhabitants of the country that the migrants are coming to, they don't want to change their culture. And listen, I think that's okay. You shouldn't have to change your culture to every Tom, Dick, and Harry who comes into your country, right? But that's the general overarching thing for most Britons. Now, there is the small minority that are like, hey, you're a fucking Muslim, I hate you. Well, they don't talk with Texas. Yeah, or Arab or whatever. They don't talk with a Texas accent, but the sentiment is the same. It's like that Southern racist, stuff. Oh, you look different than me, I don't like it. Like, that's the minority that started these whole riots, because they're just like, oh no, we can't be having Muslims being in charge. We can't have Arabs being in charge, Africans being in charge. We can't have none of that. And what's funny is you can see that it's not just like based solely on race. It's based on country or whatever, or culture, because there's a lot of people who are like, you would expect the side that doesn't want the migrants to be all white, right? There's plenty of it's Britons. It's not necessarily just the white Britons going, you know what I'm saying, coming and doing all this. Yeah. Like I've watched a lot of videos of the riots, like a lot of live streams of it, and you see, plenty of, non-white British people on the side of the go home migrants or whatever. And so I guess in terms of that, I can see how it's different from here, because we've always been, like, America has always been everybody come in, the melting pot, as they call it, right? Now, granted, we've gone through periods of history where we didn't like Mexicans. We didn't want Mexicans coming in. We didn't like Polish. We didn't like fucking Italians, Irish. Oh, yeah. Gangs of New York was like a real thing. So there were plenty of times where we had these instances of this happening. And I think we experienced it a lot sooner, because as a new nation, or a newer nation, we were taking everybody in to kind of bolster up our population. So we were that's why on the Statue of Liberty, it says, give me you're cold, you're tired, you're sick, you're weak, whatever. Give me everybody. Give me all your assholes.
We need everybody.
For
war.
If we're going to become the new world power, we need people, and we need y'all to start fucking and making more people. Yeah. That's what we need. So that's what we did. And clearly that worked. The English also are on an island. So there's a finite amount of space there. So there's also the aspect of, well, now you're bringing in hundreds of thousands of new people that are of a different culture over the last 20 fucking years, 30 years or whatever. And there's this different perspective of the culture perceiving to be changed. In addition to now we're all fucking even on top of each other even more. And like the British also had this thing with the like that. What was that fucking movie with the where they were talking shit about the fucking Pakistanis or whatever?
Oh, This Is England. Yeah. The 1980s National Front. Yeah,
that they've gone through this before with migrants. This is a larger scale issue than just the Pakistanis coming in or whatever, right? It rhymes, I guess, right? But it's larger, because this is more largely widespread. And this is starting to happen over Europe altogether. And England is kind of really the kind of first one that's like, hey, we'll just leave the French out of it, because the French riot for like every fucking it's 8 degrees cooler than it should have been. Let's go fucking riot. Which I'm in favor of, by the way. I am in favor of that. But yes, they rioted back, 8-9 months ago, a year ago, because they raised the age of the retirement by like 3 years, because they didn't have the money, because they were paying all this social welfare benefits to migrants coming into the country. That was the root cause of that whole reason for them needing to do that. So England is going through a similar point right now, where it's not just necessarily the monetary aspect, but it's more of the cultural aspect. Hey, we're English. We don't want to be Sudanese, or we don't want to be, you guys are welcome. I mean, I'm hearing that, hey, everybody can come here and be here, but don't turn England into Algeria or Afghanistan or wherever the hell all these people are coming from, right? So there's a certain aspect of that that's, understandable. You can have your culture. It's not to say that you can't do that. Because like I said, here we're different. And also a big highlighting difference is here we have freedoms and we have things that we can do that you can't do in England. One of those is speak your mind, right? Like we have the freedom of speech here. And one of the things that England's doing now, which I just think is hilarious, is they're literally arresting people for posting memes on the internet. Like they're kicking doors. The cops are kicking doors down, and I told you earlier, but it's that meme of it's these British cops with one of those door puncher things, and the guy is looking through the top of the window above the door, and it's like, hey, we know you got the memes in there. Just put your hands up and come out. Leave the memes behind. Like it's kind of ridiculous, but that's what's actually going on. They're arresting people for posting things online. Now, go ahead.
Are these two subjects related to one another, or are they?
Yeah, this is about the same English, because this has to do with the riots. The reason why they started enforcing this law, where maybe they were kind of lenient before, because again, this would cause massive outrage and riots. But once you've crossed the line of doing riots, they're having a hard time pinpointing and arresting people that were at the riots, because they're doing like these riot, run some shit up, fuck up some cops, and then leave. And so they're trying to do cell phone data. They started doing that, but then like people got wise to that and started leaving their cell phones and anything that has a tracking device on it at home. So now they've had this point where, oh man, we're having a hard time finding people. So what we're gonna do is instead, anyone who even talks about this online that we think might have been involved, we're gonna go kick their door in and arrest them for inciting hate and inciting violence online. And that's what they've been doing. And they've been locking people up and basically just throwing away the key. Because you can get 10 fucking years for posting a meme online. So I thought it was funny. So I went on and posted to the British government's it's called the Crown. I think it's the Crown Protective something, where it's like their like FBI kind of thing or whatever. And them and then the British government proper have been posting these things saying, it's like that dare. You remember the dare thing? It's like that, but it's like good kids don't do drugs. It's like good kids don't post memes on the internet. It's like one of those things about think before you post, and then they flash other things saying you can get up to 10 years for posting online. And it's like, God, so I posted our Ultra Guillotine fucking poster where it's the Obama thing with the guillotine and it just says hope. And I posted to them, I said, we really have thought about it, and this is what we think. And I posted that, and I posted all of them, and it's been getting lots of likes and stuff, and people have been laughing and saying it's funny, and I'm like, cool. However, the sentiment there is true because you are now crossed the line. And it's that old thing that I believe Benjamin Franklin said, those who would give up liberty for security deserve neither. And so the people are showing in England that they're not willing to give up freedoms to be silenced or to that's it. Like, we're not gonna take this shit, because now it's gone even higher because of these things because they've now been enforcing these online posting things, and you're gonna go to jail if you post shit online. So where the old saying of riots and violence is the language of the unheard or whatever, right? I don't know. I'm paraphrasing it, but
something like that, yeah.
Now you're seeing that the British government, who has had the power and has been silencing people, is now being showed, hey, the only way that you can have power right here is to commit an act of violence. Like, that violence is the ultimate power. Because the government, if you don't do what they say, they will commit acts of violence upon you to get you to do what they say to enforce their laws, right? All power is derived from the threat of violence. Like, always thought that, and this to me is just another prime example of if you fuck around, you'll find out. But it goes both ways. It goes from the government to the citizen, and it also goes from the citizen to the government of, hey, government, if you fuck around and fuck with me enough, you're going to find out what it's like when we start burning shit to the ground. And England is doing that. So now I don't even know if it's about the fucking migrant situation anymore, or if this is just straight up become, we are unhappy with the government in general and we want to tear it down. So I don't know. I don't know what it is anymore. There is, like you were saying earlier, there is that minority that use this to say, oh, we don't like, Africans or Muslims, so we're going to go on and join this up and just be those people are the loudest ones, right? Those are the loudest people in the echo chamber of what's happening.
Or that's what will get attention on the news.
That's exactly what gets attention on the news, which is why I think it's important for people to see the other side of it, where these aren't the majority of people. Don't seem generally racist. It's just those are the loudest fucking assholes. And, that's kind of just how it goes. If it bleeds, it leads, right? They're gonna fucking post the most.
Yeah, whatever you can milk.
Yeah,
as far as news goes or events go, especially pertinent to this, you'll pick a lane, and if it yields you something, people are watching their televisions. Oh, Arabs or Muslims are invading, like that phrasing. Yeah. Well, that's enough to capture people's attention.
Yeah. Well, the people are watching it that pay for the television license, because you can't watch TV unless you pay the government a license fee to watch television.
Oh, God.
And what's funny is instead of just charging you when you buy the TV, like that would be the easiest way to collect that, right?
They do one extra step.
They make you have to register the TV after you buy it. And then if you don't, they will like show up to your house and I've seen so many videos of them saying, oh yeah, we're from hey Mike, that's how that whole meme got started of, oh, you got a license for that meme? Like, it was like, oh, you got a license for that TV? Like,
yeah,
that's what it was. It was because you had to have a license to own a television. They're like, we see in your house right now, we see a television and there's no licenses issued to this house. And they're like, oh no, that's not mine. I'm just holding it for a friend. Like, so it's funny, but it's sad. Yeah. It's sad, the level of bureaucracy and I know that they come from a long line of legacy bureaucracy with royalty, and it did not change when yes, maybe they just elect who the king is there in England now, basically, but the bureaucracy of the nonsense is basically the same.
You mean the prime minister?
That's what I'm saying. Well, the prime minister is like in place of the king, right? That's the guy who's in charge of the country. So that's what I'm saying is they basically just elect the king now instead of yes, there's the king and the prime minister separate. But my point in saying the person in charge of the country, instead of it just being the king, now they basically get to pick who that is. So they're electing their king, quote unquote. Gotcha. But the mechanisms are all still the same. It's all still intense bureaucracy. It's still intense. It's just not a familial line that's making the decision basically to do this. But the institutions still exist. So that it's crazy, but that's just how it is in England. So UK is a cool place. I'd like to go visit it, but I would probably end up in jail. Like there's no.
Probably get extradited today.
Yeah, well, shit, they may come knock on my door right now. I swear to God, if I see any yellow and blue checkered fucking shirts, I'm just immediately opening fire. I'm not asking questions. I'm just going to start shooting through the door. Don't care, all right? Like, that's how I'm going to go out.
You going to arrest this guy for a meme?
And he doesn't even live in your fucking country? Damn, that'd be the day. That would be the day. Anyways.
So... for this thing, you're not sure if this whole rioting business is one or the other, or it's a mixed bag?
It started as this cultural difference thing and maybe a little racism thrown in, but then it's kind of turned into the government cracking down, and now... but again, I still think that there are those people that are like, no, we're still going to riot because of the, cultural differences in the migrant situation. But now we're also adding in the extra reason of like, oh, well, the government's also fucking oppressing us insanely because we're against this migrant thing that they're allowing to happen.
I think it's possible. I mean, I don't think you could be It's possible to be racist in this situation, to be outright against Arabs or Muslim people. Well, I don't know how you could be racist against Muslims, but I mean,
like, for lack of a better term, it's discriminating based on religion, I guess, right? So,
but I wonder if there's even a lane where it's possible that because you don't want a certain group to overtake what already exists for the country, not necessarily that you don't want them to be there, it's just simply like the United States, where we have a melting pot and everybody kind of respects their space mostly. Everybody has their place and everything to do their worship and even just communities in general. That's the other side of it, is that you're cool to be here, but we also want to be secular. We want everybody to have their own beliefs and their own culture, but we don't want you to be dominating this country, because it's not what we are. And what we are is to be representative of potentially all people. I don't know if that's the way the UK is.
And I mean, and I think that's basically the general consensus, I feel like, is, hey, listen, we don't want you guys there to be so many of you that you become the majority, and then you can just vote us all out and then say, well, we want Sharia law now, so we're going to go ahead and vote in favor of this. I mean, it's well documented that there are several communities within the British common, whatever the fuck it's called, within the whole country, that are these Muslim kind of like separatist little zones. They have their own police force that they run themselves, that they police Sharia law or they police like Muslim law.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not to the extent of how it is in like Iran, but it's like, that still exists. So
that's everywhere too. That's not just
that's just
France, it's Sweden, it's probably Italy too.
Right. So now people see that and go, okay, cool. You could do that in your little neighborhood where only Muslims live, but don't be telling me I gotta wear a fucking burqa when I go out, because that's not what I believe. So you can do your own shit as long as it doesn't affect anybody else who doesn't want to believe in your shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't saying specifically about that particular situation, but rather that all these countries in like Western Europe have had these, well, not just exclusively Western Europe, but that they've also had mass migrations, not just to the UK, but to Italy, France, Sweden, I think Germany as well.
Yeah, most Western European countries have taken in a ton of these, immigrants, or what do you want to call them, like refugees, I guess is probably the best way to put it. Mm-hmm. A lot of Western European countries have taken them in, and a lot of Western European countries are seeing problems. And also, it's not just related to the culture, it's related to the level of crime that is increased. It's because
those people can't do anything.
Well, they came from and they came from a third world country where they couldn't do anything either. So what do you, like, this is why I think that they should have had a better plan when they were going to take in all these refugees from third world countries, because you have to know that these people have been living a certain way for years where, you're just going to go rob somebody and take their shit because you don't got a job. That's the way you live. So you got to have an exit plan for them to say, oh, hey, we'll give you guys money, we'll give you guys whatever. I don't know, we'll get you jobs, like some kind of a plan. I'm not an expert. I don't fucking know what the solution is.
How do you make that happen where it's not preferential treatment for one group of people?
Well, yeah, it's going to just be, then you're going to disenfranchise your own citizens by saying, oh, hey, how come I don't qualify for this free government money or get this sweet government job doing whatever, stamping license plates? I want to do that for fucking $2,500 a month. That'd be fucking great, easy money. So there's that weird line of, well, you get one or the other. I don't think we've invented a system and people aren't capable of just not being assholes.
Yeah.
So we don't have a situation where that would ever really be ideal and work if you let in a third world country population into your country and then didn't give them any benefits, and then, they're just not going to commit crime. Like, I mean, here, that's the big issue that they talk about with, that's related to drug cartels, though, I think. That's not necessarily, Because I think like here, most migrants who come in are generally trying to be bettering their lives. This is a better situation than when they came from Haiti or fucking Cuba or whatever. So I think any crime that's here that we've seen that's related to any kind of immigration is essentially the drug cartels. But obviously they don't really have that problem in the UK or Western Europe. So, well, they don't have like I don't think they have South American and like I don't think they have our level of drug cartel problem. Yeah, I'm not saying they don't have drug problems, but I think it's more that their own people are like controlling it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but at any rate, the Europeans did not have a plan for this shit, and it's clearly starting to fucking backfire on them. And
I think, yeah, it's ambitious to take on a group of people that basically have nowhere to go, and basically come up with the impromptu solution about how things are going to work out.
Yeah.
I mean, what could you do? Like, you basically have to come up with everything on the fly, and your whole country is going to basically hate you for giving preferential treatment to these people. So,
yeah. So,
actually, preferential treatment is not the right word, but it is. It's some type of word.
It's like showing favor, I guess, or it's like giving them a leg up that.
Yeah, whereas those other people haven't had the same privilege to have that work out. Man, I was
yeah, and he's just like, all right, look, he's looking at you. He's like, oh God.
Yeah, this is a very. I'm sure this is already a touchy subject for a lot of people, and it probably doesn't. Not to say it doesn't mean a whole lot to us because it's not close to home, but I mean, shit, we've had that already before, so.
Yeah, we kind of already been through this, and I think it's just, it's par for the course, I guess.
I mean,
because people are assholes just in general.
What happens next, dude? I mean, I don't know what I'm trying to figure out what happened in the '90s in the UK when they already had these problems.
Oh yeah, shit. I don't even know. Hey, shut up. God. No, the cat's just moaning like an asshole. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just see what happens with it. But that's basically where it's at right now, as far as my understanding of it is.
Subject to change in the future.
Yeah, subject to change day to day, basically.
I wouldn't be surprised next week. England has what's their 9/11? Like if there was a building to be blown up, Parliament.
Oh, like the Parliament, or maybe like Big Ben would be.
Like Big Parliament
Ben
has been set on fire, dude. Imagine that, like next week.
That would be hilarious. Anyways, all right. Well, fuck. This was already basically 30 minutes, so we'll talk about stonks on the next one. With so the next episode that I don't know if it'll be the next episode, but the episode that has Russia. This is the cliffhanger for the episode. Is we'll talk about stocks on the Ukraine invading Russia fucking episode that will be after this, I guess.
Okay.
So, anyways, all right. Well, that'll do it for us for this episode. Go to Game Rage Mag. Unless you had anything else to add.
No, I think I want to correct myself for the future episode about stonks. Because we're talking about Japan, right? Like
we're going to talk about Japan. We're going to talk about the whole U.S., all of it. Like all the shit that happened on Monday and then now.
Okay. All right.
How it you'll hear it on the episode. Anyways, go to GameRageMagazine.com. You can hear all of our podcasts. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine, Twitter /X at Game Rage Mag, YouTube Game Rage Magazine. Also, you can follow Adam at All Gas No Trash Official on Instagram. And you can go listen to the All Gas No Trash podcast, which is conveniently located at all the places I just told you. So, anyways, that'll do it for us. We'll catch you on the next one.
That was the latest episode of the Central Unintelligence Podcast. Don't forget, subscribe and like on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine. We're also on Twitter/X at GameRageMag. Also our website, www.GameRageMagazine.com.